came in?
Yeah, what are you doing with all that bread?
What am I doing with all this bread? Why, are you hungry?
Yeah.
You are? I guess after dance you're hungry, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I'm actually making a centerpiece for church tomorrow because tomorrow is World Communion Sunday.
What does that mean?
Oh, well, at our church, a couple of times a year, maybe 4 times a year, we have communion. And communion is a special meal that we have to remember Jesus. Because when Jesus was on earth, right before he died, he talked to his followers, his friends, and they had a meal together. And he broke the bread and he said, when you eat bread, remember me. And then he poured them all a glass of wine and said, and when you drink, remember me. So he had a special meal that he showed them to help them remember him and remember all of the wonderful things that he did and how he taught people to love each other. And so at the church, we have communion 4 times a year to remember Jesus.
Cool.
Yeah. So we've got all this bread.
That looks good.
It looks good. Do you think I'm going to feed the whole church with all this bread? What do you think? Or do you think I'm going to take it home for Papa to eat?
Papa.
For Papa, maybe. Well, can I tell you why I've got so much bread today?
Why?
Well, like I said, I'm making a centerpiece because not only is tomorrow special that my church is doing communion, but it's called World Communion Sunday. So what we do is we celebrate knowing that other churches around the world who follow Jesus are doing the same thing. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And so what happens is we know that even though we might be a small group of people in a building, that there's thousands of people who are celebrating and remembering Jesus at the very same time as us, but they're sharing using the bread of their country because of course you usually use the bread that's easy for you to get, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to see some of the breads that represent all of the different countries? Not all of them, but some of them that will be celebrating communion. So I have this beautiful Italian loaf. And so this reminds us of our brothers and sisters in Christ who are celebrating in Italy.
Cool.
And I have some bagels, my personal favorite. Do you like bagels? I might be able to share. I don't know. We'll see. I've got some bagels. And bagels would be from the Middle East. So our brothers and sisters who celebrate the life of Jesus will be doing communion with bagels. And let's see what else I have here. Oh, I've got, now this is torn a little bit, but it's a, do you know what this is?
Wrap?
It's a wrap, but it's a tortilla. And tortilla is usually used in places like Mexico. So people in Mexico will be celebrating using tortilla. And let's see, what else do I think? Oh, this is another one that I really like. Do you know what this is?
I forget the name.
You forget the name of it? It's called naan bread. Yes, and naan bread, do you know where it's from? From India. So our brothers and sisters who celebrate communion in India might be using naan. And this one I really love. This is marble rye bread. Yum. And our friends in Germany might be using rye bread for their communion celebration. And I think I've got one that I know I really like. Croissant. Did you like those?
I love them.
You love them? And our friends from France will probably, well, some of them might be using croissants because some of the other ones might be using what we call a baguette.
Yeah.
Yes, and so that's another kind of bread.
So long.
Yeah, it is long, isn't it? And other people in Spain and Italy, especially if they're eating pasta, will often have a breadstick.
I love breadsticks.
Do you? And so our brothers and sisters in Christ in Spain will be using breadsticks.
Cool.
And what about England? What kind of bread do you think they use in England?
I forgot.
Well, what about, whoops, an English muffin. I think they might be using English muffins. That would be easy for them to find in their country.
Of course.
And this is one of my favorite. I used to eat these in Germany a lot. And this is called malt bread. But I understand it is also from Ireland. So malt bread. So our friends in Germany and in Ireland will be celebrating communion with malt bread.
Cool.
Morgan, I think that's all the bread I have. Do you think that's enough? Not quite? Well, that's right. It's not enough because tomorrow when we have communion, we will be celebrating by using little wafers and little sips of juice. And that is the bread that fills us up in our hearts, not just our bellies, but in our hearts when we celebrate communion together. And so, do you want to say a little echo prayer with me?
Sure.
Okay, you can put your hands together. Dear God,
Dear God,
we thank you
we thank you
for all the bread
for all the bread
in the world.
in the world.
May the bread
May the bread
we use
we use
for communion
for communion
fill our hearts,
fill our hearts
just like this bread
just like this bread
of the world
of the world
will fill our bellies.
will fill our belly.
And when we eat
And when we eat
and when we drink,
and when we drink,
we remember
we remember
Jesus,
Jesus,
our friend.
our friend.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Now I have to put all this, I think that looks pretty good, but I have to put it away for tomorrow.
Aw.
Okay. Well, are you going to get something to eat? So you want a sandwich?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of bread do you want?